Welcome to Elementary. I hope you're having a fabulous Monday and I hope you've managed to keep cool. I know it's been an extremely hot day and I hope you've stayed cool. Anyhow, whatever you decided to do today, I hope it was just fun. So today I'm going to talk about the 10 quick, impactful, value add renovations that you can do, or these are just ideas that you can do if you're planning to sell your home. And today I want to just talk about some quick tips that you can possibly do. If you have any questions, drop it in the question icon below. So number one is paint. So before we get started actually on the 10, let's just talk about like a general thing. And I want to talk about smell. So smell was not on my list, but I want to talk about it as, one of the most important things you could probably take a look at and think about, right? And so when I say smell is a good way. Sometimes you get nose blind, that commercial? It's true. You actually live in a space and you don't realize what your space is doing, whether you have pet odor or you've been cooking a lot of highly strong foods or something to that effect. Anyhow, smell is so important because it can really, really turn off people. And I don't mean that you need to mask your smell. So I'm not saying go and get plugins and plug them and then people think you're hiding something. And sometimes those smells linger. Just make sure you're being thoughtful when and you're being realistic too about smells in your house. A lot of times you will not smell it, but other people will. So ask a friend to walk in and ask a friend who will give you their true insight on the smell. Anyhow, so number one is fresh paint. Fresh paint is one of the most cheapest alternatives. And the thing about fresh paint is about keeping it neutral. And that helps a lot if you're looking to sell a house. Now, some people will say, oh, I love these bright colors, but really you're not going to buy your house, someone else's. So just think about that piece. Upgraded kitchens. And when I say upgraded kitchens, I don't mean to run out and go do a whole kitchen. Hardware, backsplash, little things like that, lighting fixtures. Have you seen those kitchens that maybe the lights are from the 1970s or 50s? Now, it's fine if you have a dated house. And I have a whole thing that I'm going to do on one of my topics coming up for social is about, a dated house or a cheaply renovated house. And, but if you have a dated house, you have a dated house. But what I'm talking about is if you have like maybe a builder house, maybe it's not that old, but you've got like really terrible light fixtures, that's one of the things to take. So that was number two. Number three is bathroom, like a refresh on the bathroom, right? Just kind of sprucing it up a little bit. Maybe some new fixtures or faucets, some new mirrors, and what else can you do in a bathroom? Caulking. Caulking is really, really important. Actually, I did caulking for two of my clients very recently. Actually, two very recently, but two earlier in the year as well, where I think it's the most important thing. Right around the shower especially, sometimes it looks so grimy and people get so turned off by that. But really, it takes like very little to do, and it's like one of the best things you can invest in. Number four is improve curb appeal. And this I say because sometimes people are very particular about the curbs and they'll say to me, I don't even want to see this house, it looks terrible. But don't lose your chances before you even start, right? So you don't have to go crazy and put all this landscape down. If you're not a gardener, not many of us are, and you don't have a lot of landscape, it just has to be simple. The grass needs to be well manicured. And use planters. Like if you don't have like a flower bed or landscaping, use planters instead. Trim the lawn. Power wash. Power washing really kind of helps. Power wash your front door, power wash the garage door. That really makes a big difference. So number 5 is replacing light fixtures. And lighting can be quite expensive, I must say, but replacing light fixtures is something that you can do. And I'm not saying go out and get cheap fixtures, but really dining room, bedrooms, corridors, all of that helps. But one thing I will say is that when you're looking at light fixtures, I mean, actually the one thing I will say is if you have a light or a fixture that you want to take with you, like someone maybe gave you a gift and you want to take that piece with you, I would say remove the piece and replace it before you list your house. Once someone sees it, if they like it, they want it. It's the bottom line. I don't care. If it's the central vac, if you don't want to give a central vac with it, take it off, hide it so people don't see it. Once people see it, they want it. And if you don't disclose, you have to give up your central vac. You have to buy them a new one of the two. What's next? Improve curb appeal, clean the exterior, all of that. Oh, I already said that. I was on to number 6 is new flooring. And so when I talk about new flooring, I don't expect you to run out and really do a whole house full of flooring. But if you have an old carpet, that's a real turn off. Like sometimes people will have carpet that not everyone loves carpet. Some people love carpet. They think it's luxury. Some people don't like carpet, and a lot of people have a lot of allergies, right? So if you have a carpet, just make sure you've cleaned your carpet in advance. Or if the carpet's looking a bit frayed and dated, then I would say, maybe think about replacing it with something. But really the carpet being clean is most important. And the reason why I say this is because a lot of times we'll show up for staging day. And once you start to move furniture around, I can guarantee you there's going to be, furniture lines is one thing, but a lot of times people don't realize that perhaps they've had this layout of the furniture for a long time and the carpet around has really kind of given a different imprint, or it looks dirtier than we anticipated. When you move the furniture around, you really get to see the difference. So I would say, if you have carpet and you don't want to do anything with it, the least you need to do is clean it. At least clean it before we show up to stage. Because not everyone who comes in, the cleaners will clean the house, and that's a must, but the carpets need to be cleaned, and it takes a while for the carpets to dry. So I'll tell you, I had one home I staged, and one home I put on the market, and we did the cleaning and the whole 9 yards, and then I realized the carpets was so bad. So it went live, but then a day later I had to, as it went live, I had to call the guy to clean the carpet because, I had a whole story with that actually. I did a whole story on that because the cleaner was supposed to clean the carpets and they didn't have staff, so they left me high and dry, and so I had to call someone else in. But either way, the carpets got clean, the place looked nice, it was nice and fresh, and it makes the carpet all fluffy again. So number 7 is kitchen countertops. And so a lot of times you can have decent cabinets, and so you just need to change maybe the old laminate countertops for something that is a little more modern, Korean, and you can get them for pretty cheap. Now, once you change the kitchen countertops, remember, you need to get a drop-in sink and a faucet. And yeah, faucets can be a little expensive, but they look really nice, right? And that makes a big difference. So if your kitchen is pretty good and you just need a countertop, then that's a good option as well. Number 8 is storage solutions. And I'm not just talking like closet organizers. I know some people love their closet organizers, but you know who you are. There's a group of people who love built-ins, and I think it's a demographic thing, but there's a group of people who love built-ins. So every time they see built-ins, they're like, oh my God, this house has built-ins. Anyways, I'm not saying go out and buy built-ins. Just make sure people can see themselves in those bedrooms with a decent closet that's a little organized. And some of the things you can do is remove some of the clothes so that the closet doesn't look like it's so small because your closet is stuffed. Now, I mean, it looks kind of odd sometimes because I see people putting like 3 items in their closet, and that's not realistic. But I think you have to have that happy medium of having a decluttered space and also showing like you live there, and that your closet holds your clothes. Okay, so number 9 is the front door. So front door is, so if people are walking in, they miss the curb, they then come to the front door. And I would say the front door should be inviting, right? You don't have to spend hundreds of dollars and get a big fancy door. Now you can replace the door if your door is like ancient. The other thing to do is to make sure you paint it. And so the front door is one of the few things you can actually put a popping color on, and it looks really awesome because people really like these colors that pop on the front door, and that goes a long way. So that's one of the places you can put a color. Now the garage door, on the other hand, a lot of times I tell people, if you're going to paint your front door, then think about the garage door too. But all I would tell you is please don't put some weird color on your garage door because it doesn't pop the same way the front door does. And I've actually seen homes that people have put the most hideous colors. So they probably painted the front door and thought, oh my God, I did such a great job. The door looks great. And then they do the garage door and it has like the opposite effect. Who will agree with me on that? I think if you're going to do bright colors, just keep it to the front door and leave the garage a little more neutral and a little more, tasteful, so to speak. And the last thing, number 10 on my list, was updating fixtures and hardware. So we talked about fixtures in some places as I went room by room, but fixtures and hardware are some of the things you can do that would be really will have the biggest impact, but for the least amount of money. And by saying that, you can do things like cabinet knobs and pulls, and those actually go a long way. Now, when it comes down to getting your home ready and to go on the market, those were my top 10 things that don't cost a lot of money, that have the biggest impact. And if you're not looking to renovate the house, but the thing that has the biggest impact by far is decluttering, removing your personalized items, but at least decluttering, because that makes a big difference. And another big item is cleaning, like a professional clean. And the reason why I say that is, well, I offer professional cleans because I want the space cleaned a certain way. Because I've actually learned the hard way that not everyone cleans in the same way. So I've learned the hard way because people will say, no, I have a cleaner. And then they show up and it's not done to my standard. So I just prefer to just get the cleaning done myself. So that way, at least I know what's happening. And then the property's clean the way I like it. And I can say the one thing that you cannot skimp on is a cleaning. I mean, and the smell of clean matches no other smell. Those are some of the things that I would do if I want the most impact and I'm not looking to break the bank or spend a lot of money. And it doesn't matter whether it's an up market, a down market, a buyer's market, seller's market, your property needs to show in the best light. It needs to show so when people walk in, they feel like, hey, this is a space I want to be in. I can see myself living here. And to the point where they can actually see themselves and their families having spending time in your living room or in your dining room and having, you know, all of their whole family come in. And so that's important if you're trying to get the most out of your house. And so some people will say to me, hey, you know, I've priced my home and I've done these little things and what's going on. And most times I'll say to them is, if your house is sitting on the market right now and you're hearing crickets and you have done some of these things that I'm mentioning, then you're overpriced. Bottom line, I think people are in a different space. People have seen these this pricing that happened a couple of years ago when the market was hot, and I don't think sellers have changed their mindsets too much on how they change in that changing market, right? So the market is changing, and you want to make sure that you're fully prepared, your house looks beautiful, and that you are actually pricing it correctly. The pricing strategy is the most important in this market. And I can tell you from week to week, if you've got a price, if you've got like, if you've had a meeting with your realtor maybe 2 weeks ago or a month ago, and you need to review those pricing, because the prices that you'll see, the market is changing week by week. As a matter of fact, every 3 to 4 days, you should review those prices again, because the market is changing and you need to adapt and you need to be prepared and you need to do the best you can for your property to make sure your property sells. Now, it's the kind of market where people are, you know, what should you do? Buy first to sell first. And that's really, you know, what's happening. You know, people are selling first before they decide to buy. But there's not so much inventory. Like, I mean, there is actually an increased amount of inventory compared to the month before. But people are, like I said, homes are staying on the market a bit longer. But if your house is priced well, it's going to move. And if your house shows well, it will move. So those are my 10 quick, what should I say, reno ideas to give you the most impact if you're planning to sell your home. And seeing no questions or comments, I will say goodbye to you. And until next week, and for those of you watching, my name is Jacqueline Watson. I appreciate your time. And until next week, we'll see you then. And if you want to be interviewed, you want to get on the show, let me know. I'll share some dates with you. Thank you, Kim. It's good to see you. Thanks for joining. Anyways, we'll see you next time. Take care.